Sheen, do not push this button.
What's up? Raised in a noodle shop, never seeking glory or fame. He climbed the mountaintop and earned the dragon warrior name.
Hi, welcome to Animated Autopsies. This is a new podcast we are starting about discussing cartoons that are bad, obscure, or otherwise notorious.
I think failed is okay to describe it.
Yeah.
Most of them have, I think.
No, this is a kind podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am Jasmine. I am the host for this episode. Hello. I am a cartoonist in the comic strip sense and an ex-Walmart employee.
I'm Erica. I was a guest for a couple episodes of the Krusty Cast, which was the predecessor to this one. And now I guess I'm a full-time host. I'm not replacing Maddie. Maddie just isn't here for this episode, but I'll be sticking around.
She couldn't make it. She didn't want to talk about Planet Sheensies.
I don't blame her, frankly. I'm Miranda. I used to be somebody else on the other podcast, but I'm Miranda now. I'm a girl.
Yay!
Congratulations on your transition.
Thank you. The Krusty Cast died so that I could become a girl.
Yay!
And I think that's worth killing SpongeBob over. He is a sweet boy and he will be missed.
Well, of course.
Hey, yeah, I'm Gwen. I'm also here. You all know me.
I know I'm hosting our first episode, but Gwen is our expert.
I'm the expert of slop cartoons.
We wouldn't be here doing this without Gwen.
Genuinely.
You're so kind. So what cartoon are we talking about today, Jasmine?
This week we are talking about Planet Sheen.
Not Planet Sheensies.
Not Planet Sheensies. Sheen says that in the theme song. Whatever.
He says that among many other
The Planet Sheen is a short-lived spin-off of Jimmy Neutron that aired on Nickelodeon from 2010 to 2012. It lasted for exactly one season of 26 episodes, and the show has a reputation for being hot garbage.
not unearned, frankly.
Not unearned. So, I remember watching Planet Sheen back when it premiered, and I feel bad for admitting this because I think kids deserve good cartoons. But when people say kids will watch anything, that's kind of just true. Kids will watch anything. I remember watching, the pilot episode of Planet Sheen and really enjoying it back then. But, I don't think I really kept up with the show. It's very much a show that would be on, and I'd sometimes watch it when it was on the air.
I'm fairly sure they shunted it onto Nicktoons Network,
Pretty quickly,
halfway
yeah.
through the season or something.
I mean, yeah, for a while though, I remember it being sort of like a sister show to Tough Puppy. They'd always air on the same morning.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, they aired on the same day, even.
And Tough Puppy did way better.
Yeah.
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 It's funny, I remember a lot more Tough Puppy. I don't even know how long Tough Puppy lasted.
It was 3 seasons, 60 episodes.
Which is a pretty solid run.
It might be a little out of the boundaries of the show.
I think we can
For now.
talk
Yeah,
about
we can
it.
talk about it. No one gives a shit about Tough Puppy.
I guess that's true.
No one gives a shit about Hot Puppy.
That's why we have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably not true. I'm sure there's a dozen people out there who have Tough Puppy OCs.
Well, it's all people who are fans of the sexy cat.
Yeah.
Well, beyond the sexy cat, maybe they like the Spencer from iCarly dog a lot.
So Planet Sheen is basically what led to the creation of this podcast.
Right.
Because initially the idea was going to be making a Planet Sheen spin-off podcast from the Krusty Cast.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah, no kidding.
As I said on Twitter, we're talking about spin-offs. We're talking about, CGI spin-offs that last for like one season and then die. We're talking about spin-offs featuring the main character's idiot best friend. Everyone who watched the Krusty Cast will immediately get on board with what we're talking about. The reason I wanted to do a Planet Sheen podcast is that nearly a decade ago, I watched the whole show from start to finish with Miranda, and we had an experience doing it.
It was a real like saga in our lives because we at least maybe like 2 or 3 times a week convened to watch Planet Sheen, and it was just like miserable for a lot of it.
It was miserable. Loved it.
I don't even know the impetus for us doing that. I don't know why we decided, of all things.
We did a bunch of streams where we'd just watch like a grab bag of mediocre old cartoons,
Hmm.
and we were just like sifting through them. But when we reached an episode of Planet Sheen, we were like, hold on, we need to watch all of this.
Which is kind of quaint given like
Yeah,
that's how we started this podcast, thinking that Planet Sheen was going to be like the floor, that we couldn't get lower than Planet Sheen, but
But Planet Sheen is actually like near the middle of our list.
we have watched a lot of cartoons in preparation for this podcast, and as Erica said, Planet Sheen is comfortably in the middle of our list for like all of them, maybe like the upper middle.
It's a bit sad.
I'd say it's like top 5, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I
if
don't
it's
think it was
that
top
far.
5.
I'm the freak who ranks it below Fat Dog Mendoza, so I don't think I have a right to speak here.
Let's not like get people like misled and think that we're trying to say that Planet Sheen is like some misunderstood like work of greatness, because it's still a pretty bad show.
No, we wouldn't be here talking about it if it wasn't.
I think an important part of Miranda and I's Planet Sheen experience is we sort of created rituals around it.
Yeah.
We had this thing called the waiting room, where whenever we finished an episode block or two, we'd put up an image on screen saying, up next, more Planet Sheen, so we couldn't know too much peace, and we'd put on the Bablaine music from Super Mario Odyssey.
I genuinely don't think we would have made it through all of Planet Sheen if we didn't have like that sort of interstitial there to keep us level.
If you ever want to watch all of Planet Sheen, bad
Don't.
idea. Yeah, first step is don't. Step 2 is make sure to include the waiting room.
Why don't we go to the plot synopsis and the characters?
Right, so the show is about Sheen from Jimmy Neutron. If you've watched Jimmy Neutron, you'd know him. He's Sheen's hyperactive, kind of annoying friend.
Jimmies? You mean Jimmies?
He's Jimmy's hyperactive, kind of annoying friend, and he ends up hijacking one of Jimmy's rockets and lands on a planet full of aliens who are about as smart as he is.
Which is a very breezy way to open it. We never get any Jimmy time. We don't get time with like any of the other characters.
It's really just Sheen. Like,
We don't even get Jimmy mentioned by name.
I think in the Ultra Lord episode, Jimmy is referenced by name. And there is a flashback sequence with Carl.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the gif of Carl getting flung into a plane, it's from this show.
And it looks like Gmod or whatever.
Yeah, they're in flat grass.
Yeah. Principal characters include Sheen himself. I've already discussed who he is. His best friend, Doppy, who is just Carl.
Carl, but like way more annoying, and I hate Doppy so much.
So like, isn't the story like They were told that they couldn't include Carl for whatever reason, so they
Yes.
just like made Slug Carl.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but that is the origins of Slug Carl. Is that they wanted to make the show about Sheen and Carl, but they weren't allowed to include Carl, so they just were like, okay, we'll make an alien who looks and sounds exactly like Carl, but is not Carl.
Also voiced by the same voice actor, of course.
Yeah.
Yep, voiced by Rob Paulson doing the exact same voice.
Not a very Rob Paulson heavy show, all things considered.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking.
That's true, considering other shows on this podcast.
Yeah.
Sheen's other best friend, in quotation marks, because he's not really a friend, is Mr. Nesmith, who is a chimp who was launched from Earth some 50 years ago and got stranded on the exact same planet. He's the smart one and is frequently subject to Sheen's antics. I see a lot of people say he's meant to be like the Jimmy Neutron equivalent of this cast, and I don't think that's true. The only real similarity between them is that they're the smart one.
Well, I mean, Nesmith is like smart relative to everybody else. I wouldn't call Nesmith like a genius level character on the same tier as like Jimmy.
Yeah, he doesn't have like Jimmy's like ego either. He's mostly there to like
Yeah.
whenever Sheen does something annoying, Nesmith looks at the camera and is like, "Can you believe this guy?"
His catchphrase is, and here we go.
He's the Tsukomi to Sheen's Boke.
He's also a little bit moe through helplessness, though.
He is a little moe through helpless.
Yeah, because he's psychologically tortured every episode by Sheen.
Half the jokes in the show are Sheen like torturing Nesmith psychologically. Like I think every episode has a prolonged bit where like Sheen is doing something stupid and Nesmith is telling him not to do that, and then Sheen is like, "Nesmith, why did you tell me to do that?"
When we watched like those 6 episodes of Planet Sheen in a row, didn't half of them have the exact same bit where Nesmith was like talking about something and Sheen was falling asleep during it?
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
They love the joke of like Nesmith gives Sheen an idea, and then Sheen's like, "That's a great idea. I'm glad I thought of it."
Mhm.
It's a very tiring dynamic.
Yeah.
It might be like one of the worst parts of the show. We can talk about the other worst parts.
Like,
I guess if we want to round out Sheen's friend group, we have Asifa, who is barely a character.
Asifa's awesome because she's a girl.
She's a blue avatar girl.
it was very timely.
She looks really fucking weird.
Very timely.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
She does not have a personality.
No.
There's a bit where like Sheen kinda has a crush on her. And I do appreciate that Sheen and Asifa are genuinely friends. I think that's nice.
Mhm.
But in most episodes, Asifa does fucking nothing. And that includes Asifa spotlight episodes.
Yeah, there's a big trend with Asifa.
Whenever an episode is ostensibly about her,
No, it ain't.
there's something going on that writes her out of the episode. Asifa, who is hiding behind this refrigerator box. Asifa, who is behind this toothpick sculpture. It's like, I feel like that's 90% of Asifa episodes.
Yeah, that's like there's like 3 different episodes I can think of that are like that.
Yeah.
Onion Carl. Onion Carl.
I mean, if I could ascribe a personality to her, she's like the adventurous, sort of cool girl character that's like hyper competent at everything, is what they're kind of going for there.
She's not like the Tsukomi girl. She's not like there to roll her eyes because that's Nesmith's job, but she doesn't really do anything else.
Yeah.
She just feels like she's like a kind of cool girl for Sheen to like.
Exactly.
She's just generally amicable towards Sheen, and that's kind of the extent of their dynamic.
She does accept all of Sheen's nonsense at like face value.
It's a little bit pleasant, at least their dynamic, where like they seem to get along genuinely well, and like she pretty much puts up with Sheen being a weirdo, and Sheen like does his best to like impress her and do good by her.
Mm-hmm.
So, they kind of bring out the best in each other, I guess.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
This is like a pro Sheen Sifa podcast.
That is kind of the thing. Asifa's barely a character, but I also think she's kind of vital for the show to be bearable.
Mm-hmm.
Because this show, a fun thing about this show is that there aren't a bunch of like characters who turn it off. Everybody's extremely goofy and wacky. I'd say that Nesmith and Asifa are like the two most straight man, sort of average characters on there.
Yeah, and then Nesmith gets bogged down being like the Tsukomi who has to like get tortured and mog the camera.
And it's a problem because Asifa's barely in the show.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot of Sheen and Doppy being really loud.
It's just them like screaming, and then Nesmith like looks at directly at your soul and is like, "Get me out of here, free me from this torment."
Yeah, we're not exaggerating. Every other scene, Nesmith looks at you, asking you for help because he can't bear this anymore.
Because there are like 3 other main characters, and they're all like uniquely obnoxious in their own ways.
So an important part of the show is Sheen has won over the favor of the Emperor of Xenu, because he has all of these cool things he knows about life on Earth, but because it's Sheen talking about them, he's wildly misunderstanding them, but this is the only frame of reference the Emperor has, so the Emperor just kind of just goes with it. He is on board with what Sheen has to say. I think overall, the Emperor's like a fine character. I don't hate scenes he's in.
Yeah, I think he's like in the upper half of the cast. He has some good bits.
He's mostly fun.
Of course, Kevin Michael Richardson always provides like a bang up performance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the performance helps a lot with his like booming, grandiose voice, accompanied with him saying some like bullshit about like, "Oh, Sheen, you've blessed us all with knowledge of your booger fart technique."
Yeah, exactly.
He's always there to like egg him on, and that's kind of fun. It's nice to have a character that's just like chill.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes me wonder, would the show just be better without Nesmith?
It might be.
Maybe.
Because, I do kind of feel like someone needs to exist to ground Sheen, but at the same time, I think him just existing as a counter to every other character on the show kind of just makes a lot of scenes feel more annoying.
Yeah, that's kind of a good question.
I feel like Nesmith would be better if he had a different personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he was more willing to go with the flow sometimes, like Asifa is.
He really like fucking does not yes and the plot lines and doesn't really work with the flow of episodes. There's some episodes like
He's very much a stick in the mud.
there's one we can probably get to later on as a pretty good Planet Sheen episode, as scary as it sounds, where like Nesmith and Sheen are kind of just chilling friends the whole time, and I wish they had that dynamic more.
For
Mhm.
sure.
Where like they have like contrasting personalities, but they generally get along.
I mentioned before that I don't think calling Nesmith the Jimmy of the show is an accurate comparison, but if Nesmith was a Jimmy, I think the show would be a lot more pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
They should make a show where Sheen is friends with Jimmy. That'd be a lot better.
Basically, if this show was Jimmy Neutron, it would be a good show.
Human Doppy.
Well, if we talk about the Emperor, we need to talk about the Emperor's
New groove.
beloved daughter.
Must we? Must we really?
We must. So, there are 2 main characters who are girls. There's Asifa, who barely exists, and there's who is, one of the worst characters ever created.
She is the worst part of the show. And like the only saving grace is she also like she exists less than Asifa. She's barely in any episodes, but when she does appear, God, you're gonna feel it.
He just brings the whole vibe down.
You can feel it. That's the thing. When Asifa is in an episode, you probably won't realize it. Makes herself known.
I think she enters every scene by yelling. Every scene she's in, she just enters it by screaming.
We should probably explain her bit, which is that she's madly in love with Sheen, and she has a split personality based on which side of her face is frontward facing. And one side is the obnoxious, like, bratty teenage daughter. The other side is, like, a goofy hick.
They both basically behave the same.
And she loves to... I don't even remember what the word is, but she loves...
Raffenhofer.
Raffenhofer.
She loves to wrap Sheen in her tongue and, like, lick him. And that's, like, a kiss for her, I guess.
They get a weird amount of mileage out of this.
And that's her entire personality. That is her whole shtick.
Yeah.
If you see her in an episode, she's probably doing that because she doesn't have any traits beyond that.
I can't even imagine her doing anything else.
She's just like this big, like 7 foot tall, like teenage girl stereotype alien with 2 faces and a really long tongue who's constantly like shouting, Raffenhofer, Raffenhofer, and licking Sheen while Sheen is like incredibly uncomfortable and unhappy with this. It's like the worst fucking like character concept I've ever seen.
I feel like every cartoon in the 2000s had like the annoying girl character who was always chasing the boy character.
I feel like every cartoon ever has had that.
I feel like I hadn't seen it after like the 2010s.
Yeah, I feel like it died out once people learned about like feminism.
Planet Sheen might have been like the last example of that I can think of.
Planet Sheen was so bad it invented feminism.
It killed a trope.
But now we get to go from the worst character on the show to quite possibly the best characters on the show because we get to talk about Dorkus and Pinter. They are the show's main antagonists, but I don't even know if it's proper to describe them as antagonists in half the episodes, because their whole shtick is Dorkus used to be like the Emperor's royal advisor, but he got upstaged by Sheen when he landed on the planet, so Dorkus lost his job and he's very bitter about how much the Emperor loves Sheen. So now he wants Sheen fucking dead.
See, the thing is, I don't see Dorkus as a villain because he doesn't like plot any nefarious schemes to like take over Xenu. He just hates Sheen. That's all.
Exactly.
His only nefarious schemes are to kill Sheen, but like that's kind of justified.
Yeah.
Because Sheen does like constantly ruin his life.
He's the TV trope's ineffectual sympathetic villain. If you know that trope.
Yeah.
And he also has a little flying gay henchman who's like an eyeball named Pinter.
Pinter.
Yeah. So we have our campy villain and his little flying gay henchman.
I love Pinter.
Pinter's great.
They have a really good dynamic.
He's this funny little eyeball dude, and he
The thing I think that works extra well about Dorkus and Pinter, aside from like it's generally fun when there's a campy villain and a campy little sidekick who are just like, I will destroy the main character with my schemes. It's like Dorkus and Pinter have like just a really friendly dynamic.
Yeah.
kind of domestic, really.
They kind of are like an old married couple.
That is basically how they're written.
Pinter's always like, oh yes, sir, it's a great plan. And Dorkus is like, yes, Pinter, thank you. They just like build up each other so much. And I think they're very sweet in their own like funny villain way.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the like main Dorkus and Pinder jokes I think of is when Dorkus is falling in a trench and Pinder's falling also, and Pinder's like, wait, I can just fly us out of here, and Dorkus is like, no, I'm falling so you fall with me. And Pinder's just like, oh, okay.
They would find each other in any universe.
True.
This show was a good one to start with because it does kind of lay the groundwork for a lot of character tropes that we're going to see moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like the like annoying Captain Wacky protagonist. We have like the straight man. We have the like campy villain and campy sidekick.
We have
The girl
who has
character
no
that does
personality.
nothing.
The girl character with no personality and the girl character who is annoying and chases after the main boy.
And Rob Paulson.
And Rob Paulson,
Rob
yeah.
Paulson. So if you think about it, Planet Sheen is a very prototypical cartoon cast. So something I want to talk about regarding Sheen, just circling back around to him, is like, how does he stack up compared to his Jimmy Neutron counterpart? Because I feel like there's a common argument against this show where, like, they really flanderized Sheen.
Mm-hmm.
So I've watched some Jimmy Neutron in preparation for recording this episode, and I have to admit, I'm still not entirely sure where I land on this point, because most of the episodes I watched featured Sheen, but very few were like Sheen Spotlight episodes. But the vibe from the episodes I watched was more of a Sheen is pretty similar to his Jimmy Neutron counterpart, but in that show he was in small doses and given better material.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's less Sheen has changed fundamentally as a character, and more Sheen does not work as a main character.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing with Sheen, his purpose in Jimmy Neutron, as like a supporting character to Jimmy, of course. You can't make one of these spin-off shows about like the comic relief character and it, ever goes well because it doesn't.
Yeah.
But like Sheen and Jimmy Neutron, I feel he was more privy to things that were going on in the plot, I guess I'd say. He felt more like proactive.
I think I can agree with that.
In Planet Sheen, he's the idiot protagonist. Things just kind of happen to him. He doesn't intentionally solve things very often,
That's true. It's more like things happen to him than that he actively instigates anything.
which is probably the worst thing a protagonist could be, I feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it works in Jimmy Neutron because Sheen's a side character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jimmy is a proactive character.
Yeah, it's not Sheen's job to be the one heading the plot. He does in a few episodes, but he's just there to sort of like spout out jokes and contribute in his own way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take Jimmy out of the equation and make Sheen the main character, suddenly you have a main character who is the obnoxious hyperactive one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I remember Sheen being like really aggressive in Jimmy Neutron too. He doesn't get angry a lot in Planet Sheen.
I guess that's probably for the better. It kind of keeps the vibes chill, but it does kind of limit the plots they can have.
Because Sheen only has one setting in Planet Sheen. He's the smiling dumb guy character.
Jeff Garcia does give a good performance as Sheen. Like, he has to really carry the show, and
Yeah.
he did an admirable job of it. May he rest in peace.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
This is honestly my biggest gripe with doing Planet Sheen as our first episode is this feels disrespectful to him.
A little bit, but I don't think he had a say in like how bad the show was.
I do at least want to bring up the point that this show has a lot of flaws. I don't think that the voice acting or the performances given are one of them. I think everybody does give a very good performance. They all play it up the way that they should. They make the best out of the fairly bad material they're given.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody sets out to make a bad show. It's just that, the circumstances of how this came about.
Let's talk about production a little bit, just because, I think that's important to understanding this show, because this show wasn't developed as a Jimmy Neutron spinoff. It was developed by the studio as just its own original concept. It was called Red Acres. It's about a fast food worker who just gets shot into space and lands on a planet of hillbilly aliens, and that's the show they wanted to make. They shipped it around to a few different people, and Nickelodeon was like, we can do this, but can you make Sheen the protagonist?
And a bit of context with that is that Nick historically doesn't produce shows with adults as the main characters, and that's what they wanted to do with Red Acres.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that is a little bit strange considering its sister show, Tough Puppy. The main character in that is an adult.
Right, but he's also a dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be like a funny animal, I guess, or a human child.
Mm-hmm. Because they almost made SpongeBob into like a child, and the only way they could compromise was by having him in boating school.
Yeah.
Right.
Before starting this recording, I had everyone sit down and watch this little video produced by Paul Klauerhout, who I think worked with DNA Productions or O Entertainment or whatever. And there's a slide where they're like, we sent the show to Nickelodeon, but they wanted to make it a Jimmy Neutron spin-off featuring Sheen. And I feel like the featuring Sheen slide just has this, like, quiet passive aggression behind it.
Yeah.
Like,
It felt very bitter.
the people working on this show kind of knew Sheen as a protagonist was a bad idea.
So basically, the show kind of ended up being everyone is making the best of a bad situation.
That's very much the vibe I get from Planet Sheen, because, like, sometimes the show's a little bit unhinged. I think of one episode where Sheen's, like, explaining how everyone should get sick or else it'll start a world war. And Slug Carl is just like, I thought world wars were caused by rampant nationalism and economic instability. I guess I was wrong.
That is like the standout quote of that show.
And it just completely comes out of left field and slaps you in the face. And I think Planet Sheen has a lot of little moments like that every so often. And I think that's kind of part of why Miranda and I were compelled to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it is. If nothing else, it's a very fascinating cartoon.
It's a bit like the cartoon equivalent of dumpster diving.
Yeah! I think that's the best way to put it, because, like, it has genuinely entertaining antagonists. Dorkus and Pinter are genuinely fun characters. And every so often, it produces a gem. Like, I don't think any episode of Planet Sheen's gonna be the best thing you ever see, but there's a small handful that are, like, genuinely kinda entertaining. Like, part of why Planet Sheen ends up in the middle of a lot of our rankings is that it does have its moments.
It has like a peak of being at least like even a 7 out of 10 would
Yeah.
even if like I feel like the typical like median Planet Sheen episode is something really annoying. Whereas the episode where like nothing really happens and Sheen is just yelling at Nesmith and a bunch of stupid stuff happens. I think one thing we also noticed while we were watching the show is that like episode quality tends to like take a nosedive when Dorcas isn't involved.
Right.
For sure.
Like the
He doesn't want to be any part of any Oob episode.
which the thing about Dorcas is a lot like he's kind of a rare character.
Yeah, he's
I
like
want to say he's in like less than half.
yeah, I figured before watching this he'd be in like most episodes, but like it feels like you like save him for like the specific Dorcas plots.
He's kind of like the sideshow Bob of Planet Sheen.
Well, he's more common than Bob.
Yeah.
He's more like the Mr. Burns, I think.
Yeah. I do want to talk about specific episodes, but there is one more thing I want to talk about regarding the production of the show. So on the internet, all over the place, I see this claim brought up that Planet Sheen was originally developed as a more serious show about Sheen being a double agent between the Empire and a resistance group, and that the Emperor was evil, and that it was scrapped for being too similar to Avatar. I have never once found a reliable source for this claim. Like, I mentioned watching that Planet Sheen history video, and all of the production material seems pretty close to what the final show looks like. Like,
I just like to imagine that they were so like disheartened by the fact that Red Acre couldn't become a thing. They're like, well, we'll make your Sheen spinoff, but it's gonna be like the sweeping epic like political thriller spinoff
God.
starring Sheen from Jimmy Neutron.
it's just such a ridiculous concept to me because, like, in what world was the spin-off about Sheen going to be this serious thing?
In a just world.
True. It feels like just such obvious cope from fans.
I feel like I'd have to like web archive research the history of this rumor, but I feel like my guess is that someone is like someone's fanfic being like, oh, if I made this show, this is how I would have made it better. and then somehow that got like internet telephone turned into they were gonna make a show where Sheen was a political double agent.
Yeah.
Maybe they really did get it mixed up with Tough Puppy airing in the same time slot. They thought it was the spy espionage slot.
I had they were originally gonna give Sheen this like sexy cat girl girlfriend.
Well, either way, Rob Paulson was gonna be there.
Yes. I just think it's such a beautiful, because it always feels like it comes from like the fans who talk about how Jimmy Neutron was a more serious show and like more sincere, certainly. More serious, we're still talking about a wacky science boy cartoon for kids. Let's not get like, I feel like you can kinda tell when someone only consumes shit made for kids based on what, like, their benchmark for something being weirdly deep is.
Yeah.
Avatar, The Last Airbender.
The example that always comes to mind for me is Splatoon. I love Splatoon, and yeah, it does cover some heavier topics, but if you're trying to argue Splatoon is not really a game for kids, I think you need to reevaluate something. I'm sorry, that was a bit of a side tangent. I just needed to get.
No, it's true. A lot of people do sort of. Yeah, The Last Airbender is kind of the benchmark. A lot of people who only consume like Nickelodeon content and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Severance to them.
So I mentioned there being some like actually decent episodes of Planet Sheen. I know it might be surprising, but they're real, they exist, they're out there. Some of the ones that come to mind are The Boy Next Dorkus. It's an early on episode that sort of introduces the Sheen Dorkus dynamic. Sheen is holding a house party as he just gets acquainted with everyone on Xenu, but Dorkus is hosting his own party on the same night, and he's mad that Sheen is upstaging him. What makes this episode work is like Dorkus is a genuinely entertaining character. A lot of the episode is focused on him. It's the episode Gwen was talking about earlier where Sheen and Nesmith are kind of just like chill friends.
Yeah.
So Sheen ends up being a lot more likable as a protagonist in this one.
Yeah, I think it's also like not just like Nesmith. Like everyone on Planet Xenu wants to be fucking Sheen's friend, including its celebrity billionaire Tronald Dump.
Tronald Dump. This is the Tronald Dump episode, and it's kind of fascinating to look back on. Like, Gwen was mentioning how fascinating the Trump impression from, like, a time where he wasn't constantly everywhere was.
Yeah.
It's so primitive. It doesn't like sound like him because people didn't have to listen to him all the time and didn't have to listen to like Twitch streamers doing Trump voices.
Oh, it's a beautiful world.
Specifically, just him as like the host of The Apprentice is just like, you're not hired. Whatever.
You're discharged.
Yeah, that's what he says. It's like a really whatever impression, and it's really like it's so charming to look back on. We used to live in such a world.
But, like, that episode's genuinely good. Another episode that I think might be the best one of Planet Sheen is Trial by Jerry.
That was such a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it had consistently solid jokes. It does kind of do the Planet Sheen thing where whenever they have a joke that's kind of good, they kind of run it into the ground.
Mhm.
They're like Fairly Odd Parents. They love the rule of 3.
And sometimes it becomes a rule of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Or, like, it's a rule of 3, but it's 3 times in a row, so it loses its impact.
Yeah.
But, like, despite that, I think Trial by Jerry is, like, genuinely funny. It has, like, a good Sheen Dorkus dynamic. It's another instance of Nesmith kind of being helpless, but, like, I don't know, I think the unique courtroom setting really brings out every character's strengths.
Mhm.
The premise is that the king, the emperor, has a pet bird, and through a series of hilarious mishaps, Nesmith is accused of eating the emperor's bird. So Sheen suggests that they put him on trial, and they have a trial by Jerry, Not jury, Jerry. Just one guy who is the entire jury.
One guy with 5 heads.
Yeah.
Wearing a shirt that says, "I'm with Jerry," with arrows pointing to all of them.
Hinging the episode title on like a dumb pun like that, I appreciate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The setting helps, like, Sheen's wacky nonsense is a lot funnier in a courtroom setting.
Mm-hmm.
It gives a good outlet for Dorkus to antagonize everyone.
It's one of the few Planet Sheen episodes that like doesn't feel like it's either dragging or goes on only like 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It feels paced well.
There's flow.
The jokes in it have a good setup where Sheen is kind of basing his knowledge of courtrooms on like memories of stuff he sees on TV.
Yeah.
And everyone else just takes him at face value, including Dorcas.
Yeah, I think that's also part of what makes the episode work, is like just everyone being clueless to what they're doing. The third episode that was kind of decent was a shock to me, because I put it on as like, oh, let's watch the Planet Sheen piss episode, because I figured it would be a miserable one. Gotta Go is kinda decent.
Because as weird as it sounds, it's one of the few episodes where Sheen feels like he has any stake on what's going on in the plot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't feel like a Planet Sheen episode because Sheen feels so lucid. He's so grounded because he's so focused on needing to go to the bathroom that he like actually interfaces with the world around him.
He needs to piss and he wants to hang out with Asifa, but he doesn't want her to know he's doing that because it's embarrassing.
It's one of those kinds of things where, oh, I need to go do something, but there's a bunch of fun like diversions that keep me from doing it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. There's a good sense of escalation.
It also has one of the best Nesmith moments in the series.
Probably the best Nesmith moment in the series.
Probably.
To explain that a bit, in the episode, there is a running gag where they keep cutting to shots of Nesmith pouring tea because it's like in a close-up, it kind of looks like a stream of piss. The episode ends with like Sheen finally getting to go to the bathroom, and we just cut to that again, and then it zooms out, and everyone we saw in the episode is having a tea party with Nesmith, and he just turns to the camera and like tips his glass, and he gives you Reddit gold.
I don't really think there's anything as good as him ending the episode by raising up his glass and giving you Reddit gold.
I think that's the most shockingly good episode.
I'd say it's probably, in my opinion, the best. It's the most well plotted.
It's also the only one of those 3 episodes that doesn't have any Dorcas at all, so like, it's a rare exception to the rule that the less Dorcas there is in an episode, the worse.
It's also kind of an Asifa episode, sort of.
Right. I mean, she's in it.
Yeah, and like, it hits on what I was saying about the benefits of the Sheen Asifa dynamic, where they like genuinely get along.
Yeah, because like the emotional crux of the pee episode is that Sheen wants to like hang out with Asifa, but doesn't want her to know that he has to pee because that he thinks that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And it works well as like an emotional stakes. And it's like this is the only character in the show that Sheen can have emotional stakes over. So she does kind of have an important purpose, even if she's like incredibly underutilized because it isn't a good show.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the episodes that highlight Asifa being basically a non-entity. Is There's Something About Scary and Getting Groovy. In the former, Asifa makes a very scary face. It scares who tells on her to the Emperor, and the Emperor bans scary faces and locks her in the dungeon, and most of the episode is just Sheen, Slug Carl, and Nesmith just trying to bust her out.
Are there a lot of episodes about things getting thrown in the dungeon? Wasn't there one about like a dinosaur that got thrown in the dungeon?
That one got caught by animal control.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was like sort of an Asifa.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still another dungeon episode, and there's also like an Asifa gets written out of the episode one because she like drops off her pet dinosaur basically with Sheen.
Yeah.
If it's not a dungeon episode, it's an episode that just like takes place entirely in Sheen's front yard.
A lot of episodes take place in front of Sheen's like Spore Civilization stage house.
I forgot to mention Sheen's house. So Sheen has a house shaped like his face, and I think it's hilarious.
It is a really good like visual gag because they don't expound on it.
No, he just has a house shaped like his face, and you just have to accept that.
There's another Asifa episode that I watched like on my own just last night that we didn't watch together. It's Raging Bell, where Asifa like goes through some like alien puberty where she turns into a monster in a cage. It's like she has to like keep her locked in a cage and keep her calm. Like that one SpongeBob episode with Sandy hibernating, but it's also another way for them to write an Asifa episode where Asifa doesn't actually appear as a character.
Yeah. And the third one, getting groovy, is Asifa loses a symbiotic organism that helps her yodel, because that's like Asifa's. I feel like they give her some weird traits to try and make her seem like a more interesting character than she is. So she yodels, that's like her battle cry. But, like, it causes her to lose her entire sense of direction and burp relentlessly, and it's up to the other three to get it back from the villain. So, like, you can see there's kind of a trend with the Sifa focus episodes.
Like they want to have her, but they just don't know what to do with her.
So they have all these plots that kind of just create a stake where she's not involved.
Or Asifa.
Or Asifa. So, other episodes of note to me, I think Is This Cute? It's like the first episode of Planet Sheen that isn't the pilot, and it feels like such a prototypical Planet Sheen episode. How it goes by so fast. It ends before it even gets started. It's about this little unicorn thing who is feared by all the people on Xenu and attacks them with his nose hairs.
There's a lot of episodes in the show where like a weird alien shows up and Sheen has to fight it.
Yeah,
That's another like staple of the show.
there's probably more of those than actual Asifa Spotlight episodes.
Yeah,
A lot more.
it's kind of a monster of the week kind of show.
It is a little bit Monster of the Week.
And isn't that the episode where they introduced Doppy?
Yeah, it's the episode with the flashback that looks like it was animated in Gmod where Doppy gets launched into a plane. So if nothing else, watch it for that.
Then turn it off.
Then turn it off, yes. But also it's an 11-minute episode that feels like it's like 5 minutes. So if you do decide to watch the whole thing, it won't waste too much of your time. There's the episode Torzilla, which is a pretty standard Planet Sheen episode. It was notable to me for having Family Guy cutaway gags. I think a few episodes have those.
Yeah, there's like a kind of a shift in Planet Sheen writing.
Yeah.
Like, Is This Cute also had like some cutaway gags. I feel like that's something they did a lot early on. Also, something they did early on that I want to mention is like they used to have every episode basically end with Sheen like writing to his grandma about his adventure on Xenu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I miss that a lot as the show goes on. They like completely drop that, and it felt like something really like grounding. It's like grounding like Sheen's character in some emotionality, grounding like the fact that this is like a show about a kid who's like lost on another planet. Yeah, it's a little bit of melancholy to it.
It is kind of a thing. I am curious if, like, as the show went on, there was kind of a realization that this show's not gonna be good. It's gonna last for one season, and they kind of just gave up. Because I feel like, I don't want to say the early episodes are good, but they feel like the episodes that try the hardest.
They feel a lot more earnest.
They're more comparable to Jimmy Neutron level quality than the rest of the show is.
Yeah, it feels like they were like had like a vision in mind, you know? It feels like by the end they're just kind of throwing shit at the wall.
The early episodes are them trying to make lemons into lemonade. The later episodes are them realizing they only have sour fucking lemons. Torzilla is notable for having the Dorkus ass expansion scenes. So the next episode I want to talk about is Banana Quest, which is the series finale. I'd say it's actually another of the best episodes of the show, probably.
It's notable.
The TV tropes page for the show has a really weird entry where it's like growing the beard, which is like when a show like hits the point where it gets good. It says that this episode is the growing the beard moment, but it's also the last episode.
Oh.
I don't know if I can agree by saying that this episode was good.
It's It's not.
It's the only episode of the show that's 22 minutes long,
Besides the pilot.
besides the pilot, yeah. It's their big finale. It's notable because it has one of the best characters in it, but like all the stuff where it's just Sheen and Doppy and Nesmith going on. Not Nesmith wasn't there. It was just Sheen and Doppy.
And a Sifa.
Oh, Sifa was there.
Oh right.
They had to get the banana for Nesmith because he got sick.
And it's them wanting to do something nice for Nesmith, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean that's cute.
And Dorkus and Pinder is chasing them because they think that if Sheen's trying to get this banana, it must be this very valuable relic.
It's kind of like a K roll for the Donkey Kong cartoon plot.
True.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like Dorkus assumes the banana is a crystal coconut. So anyway, we're putting off the important part of this episode, which is that it has a major focus on the fruit hobo, ostensibly the 8th main character of Planet Sheen.
Fruit Hobo showed up like maybe twice in 2 episodes prior to Banana Quest.
Yeah.
But he is a main character in this episode.
Yes.
And I mean, there's a lot of weird one-off characters who are in just an episode to do a bit, but I think this is the first episode of the show Miranda and I watched, the one that inspired us to watch the whole show, so the Fruit Hobo felt like a noteworthy presence to us.
Topped all of our tier lists when we did Planet Sheen characters.
Yeah, we did Planet Sheen.
We have to explain to the audience what the deal with the fruit hobo is.
He's a magical man with a teleporting booth, and he gives them all maps to find the fruit. And he's strange and off-putting. And eventually it turns into a weird Wizard of Oz type scenario where, like, the fruit hobo's the wizard.
It's weird that the Wizard of Oz is like a recurring like plot parody in these kinds of cartoons.
But it's like so little of the episode is the Wizard of Oz. It just becomes it at the very end.
Right.
And Dorcas and Pinner are there.
Yeah.
I don't know why the fruit hobo is so noteworthy to us, but he just is.
I really don't know.
I know why. It's because he has like mysterious godlike powers. He can like teleport around at will and like seems to be able to like conjure objects.
Yeah.
He seems to have like this like omnipotence to him where he like has maps that like lead to like specific places and he like knows more than he lets on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of got like a trickster god kind of feel to him.
True.
Yeah.
Just a little bit Tom Bombadil.
A little bit Bugs Bunny.
And because that was the first episode we watched, we were shocked when we learned he was in more than one.
Does feel like a fucking one-off.
Like, there's one episode where Sheen has to make a bunch of money quick, and he just points out the fruit hobo as someone who runs a successful business, and we were like, holy shit.
Yeah. Doppy like gives us the lore that he's only a hobo because he gives all his money to charity,
That's awesome.
which I think is important.
Hmm.
Do you have any more episodes you want to talk about, or do you want to go? It's like kind of our character ranking.
I think we can, like, go towards that. So, the worst character is obviously
I don't think that's up for debate.
It's hard to like find a character worse than Oom on any show.
If anything, I think we lock her in as our worst character thus far, and like we'll have to compare the worst characters on other shows to
She sets the benchmark.
Yes.
I'm so excited to like make the worst character tier list.
So does Sheen or Slug Carl go above Which of them is worse?
Slug Carl. I hate Slug Carl.
I think Sheen has definitely like a higher ceiling, but he also has a lower floor than Slug Carl.
That's kind of where I'm at with them.
I don't know. I think Slug Carl's just like consistently bad. I don't think he's ever a great moment.
I can agree with that. I would put Slug Carl below.
So Sheen is the Planet Sheen of Planet Sheen, and Slug Carl is like the wayside of Planet Sheen.
So incredibly cruel.
That sounds about right. Sheen does kind of represent the show he's in very well.
He does.
He has moments of like entertainment, but he's mostly just really annoying and loud.
Yeah. And like sometimes he'll have a funny joke and he'll probably beat it into the ground within a minute.
Like we said, he's only got one mode this entire show.
Yeah.
Who is our favorite character of the show? Who's the best character?
Dorkus and or Pinter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just a two-way tie. It's really hard to pick, especially because they're like pretty much always together and they're like a package deal.
They're a unit.
hmm
Personally, I'd go with Pinter over Dorcas. Dorcas is kind of like he's really fun, but he's kind of just still a stock cartoon villain. Pinter's like a stock like henchman, but he has like a cuteness to him I rarely see with his like
Yeah.
little like lispy voice, and he's so polite. He's like, "Oh yes, sir.
He's
Oh,
so good.
I think from that angle, I'd put Pinter above him too. Although Jeff Bennett does kill his Dorcas, though, I think.
Oh yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Jeff Bennett does really sell the fucking like the Dorcas role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The show would be so unwatchable without Jeff Bennett. Now, who's the like highest power level character in the show? Who's the strongest one?
Fruit
Fruit
Hobo.
Hobo.
Yeah, Fruit Hobo.
We do learn his secrets, his tricks by the end of the episode, but like, I don't know, if you're not privy to how he does things, I think he's a force to be reckoned with.
He's a bit of a knowledge check.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you don't know how he works, he can just drop his fruit stand right on top of you and that's game.
Yeah, it's a nasty overhead. Okay, so we figured out the best character of the show, the worst character, and the strongest. Now we have one more category we need to decide. Who is Planet Sheen's Chaser of the Week?
Should we give some context why we have a chaser of the week?
I don't think we need the context.
Fair enough. Who's the biggest chaser at Planet Sheen?
But I feel like Sheen kind of feels like a T-girl chaser for Sifa.
So we're just saying Asifa's trans now?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, she's like a trans allegory. There's so many episodes where she's like being persecuted for like her weird like alien, like her scary face or turning into a big monster, and then Sheen's like, "That's so awesome!"
True. You're so real.
Yeah, you know what? Sheen can be the chaser of the
Sheen
week.
can be the chaser of the week. In my mind, I was thinking Slug Carl, but I had no justification for it.
He just feels like it. He just feels like it.
He just has vibes. I can understand.
On the Nickelodeon website, there was a series of Flash games called Super Brawl. I want to say, was it Super Fall Brawl?
Mhm.
That one had Sheen as like a secret unlockable character, but they screwed up the programming for some reason and accidentally made Sheen the most powerful character ever in any fighting game. Unbeatable.
It's like this like full screen like dash attack that like runs through you and is like impossible to dodge. Just this like insanely fast damage.
So Planet Sheen and Super Fall Brawl had to be patched out of the game.
Kind of a flash game.
They didn't nerf him. They just like removed him.
Imagine if Minecraft Steve was so strong that they had to cut him out of the game forever.
Challenger leaving Planet Sheen.
But apparently, Sheen was like the only piece of new content from that version of Nick Brawl. So the next version, it was named different, but it had the same content as the last one, because the only new content they had was just gone.
That's awesome.
So Super Fall Brawl Planet Sheen would be our strongest character if he was in the show, but unfortunately he was not.
If he had used his fucking like charge move on Dorkus, Dorkus would have been fucked.
But he has no need to, because he thinks that they're best friends.
Yeah, that's something we didn't really touch on, but I think is a cute part of their dynamic is they go for the angle where like the villain wants to destroy the protagonist, but the protagonist thinks that they're best friends, which is cute.
It's the Kirby and King DDD dynamic.
It's kind of a SpongeBob Squidward, yeah.
Like, we talk about how Sheen having no fucking idea what's going on does kind of drag down the show, but I think that it does work in the context of Dorcas.
Mm-hmm. It works in some circumstances.
Yeah.
My lord, you have the power to be his friend, my lord.
You can't date this episode. Xenu child.
Great going, Erica. Why don't we talk about Jumbo Josh while we're at it?
God.
Oh, and then she goes to the back rooms.
At least that is an Amiga game that has existed for 30 years already.
No, everyone's gonna know we recorded this episode in like 1996.
This is all speculative. We don't know what a planet Sheen is.
I'm -4 years old.
This mysterious podcast was found on a VHS tape. Is the only known recording of these four brave women. So, what did we think of Planet Sheen overall?
Planet Sheen is not a very good show at all. And that's generally the reputation it has. Just, this is a bad show.
It's bad, but it's average bad.
Yeah, I feel like people tend to exaggerate how bad this show is. It is bad, make no mistake. I'm not trying to be like, oh my gosh, Planet Sheen is this secret gem. But like, it's a show that when you watch a lot of bad cartoons, it has enough going for it that
You appreciate what it's going for.
you appreciate it. You appreciate the Sheens in life when you've seen
The pits of hell.
Yeah,
Flying Rhino Junior High.
Oh no.
a small way to happiness is to be able to like watch this like 4 out of 10 cartoon and be like, some of this is pretty good. You can find the beauty in that. I think that's what this podcast is really all about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because I want this podcast to be sort of a celebration of these shows, which is going to be damn hard for some of these episodes, but like,
Yeah, we kind of started with not the best example of being generous to a cartoon.
I mean, no, we started with a good example because this sets the baseline for what can be better, what can be worse.
yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's a show that has its moments. I kind of get the impression that the show's general vibe from a production standpoint was they didn't want to make it, but they still had some fun doing it.
Exactly.
Like, so this is the same studio that made, like, Barnyard, and I think back to, like, the Barnyard Dick Tits story, how they learned they were getting cancelled and just kinda went off the rail in the production side of things, and, like, this is a show that was made by the same studio in a post-Dick Tits world that they didn't want to make. And I think some of that unhinged energy carries over into Sheen.
I don't think we're going to give like numerical rankings like we did on Krusty Cast. I think we're just gonna let each episode stand on its own.
Yeah.
It's more layered than that. I don't think there's one objective take for any of these shows because this could be a show that you would sit down. It'd be a guilty pleasure kind of thing for you. That said, the show is extremely annoying.
We should all learn to give Sheen a chance. But like, if you see an episode where shows up, just close the tab and maybe take a walk.
Call one of your friends. Tell them how much they mean to you.
Yeah, call one of your friends, start a podcast, and maybe learn to appreciate things you wouldn't appreciate otherwise.
Yay!
Why
I
didn't
appre-
we stop watching the episodes while we were watching them? We could have just closed out at any time.
We had a job to do, Jasmine. We're professionals. Look at our like business office that we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you see this is official. They hired us to do this.
who hired us?
That's
That's the lore bait.
They.
we got hired by a pronoun.
Oh, big pronoun.
They're the only place that does DEI hiring anymore.
We need to figure out how to end episodes for this podcast.
We need to figure out.
All right. Okay. That was Planet Sheen. We did that. What are we doing next time, Gwen?
Let's just say next time at the Autopsies office, we're going to be looking at a bit of a Canadian classic, and we're going to all learn what it's finally like to truly be Ian.
Oh dear.
I'm not looking forward to it, but we're going to see things his way.
We're going to get so many angry letters from all the Canadians in the world.
That's going to be our most contentious episode, I think, surprisingly.
Apologies in advance.
Canadian's Canadian, so we need to make sure she's here so people don't send us hate mail. Later days.
Later days.
Later days.
Goodbye.